People don't know right from wrong, male to female, man to woman, God from the devil. We are in the end times. So in this video right here, we have signs of the end times. They want you to join their cult. This was sent to me by one of you guys, a viewer of this channel. I appreciate it. Highly recommended right here. This video is a film. So it's like very cinematic. It's 40 minutes long. We're going to watch half of it. So we're going to watch 20 minutes today. And if you guys want to watch the other half, make sure you do comment that down below. Let's get straight into this.
Well, as friends and family mourn the loss of 17-year-old Caleb White, this story has touched so many people all over the country.
It's just such a shocking case. He was a star athlete in great shape. It's really hard to understand how he could just collapse and pass away.
Yeah, you know, we all want to think that we would see the signs of something like this and be able to prevent it. But I spoke to a cardiologist today who says if Caleb passed away from sudden cardiac arrest, often there aren't any signs. Damar Hamlin's collapse on national TV in January shocked the country. He suffered sudden cardiac death. Thankfully, he was resuscitated. Then last month, LeBron James' 18-year-old son, Bronny, collapsed on the USC campus. He was also resuscitated. Then last week, 17-year-old Caleb White. Sadly, emergency medical teams were not able to bring him back. Cardiologist Dr. Tom Egan says the most common cause is congenital. It's called hypertrophic cardiomyopathy.
In African Americans, you can see an increased risk of that disease.
Hypnosis is usually induced by a procedure known as a hypnotic induction involving a series of preliminary instructions and suggestion.
Operation Mockingbird. The CIA program consisted of literally paying off editors and reporters at most mainstream news outlets. The New York Times, CBS.
What do you get when you cross the mainstream entertainment industry, who are in the boredom-killing business, with a military-industrial complex, who are in the people-killing business?
The Washington Post, Newsweek, AP.
Operation Mockingbird 2.0.
Hypnosis is
A suspense-filled, action-packed comedy horror social engineering project that will entertain you to death.
Sudden cardiac death.
Circus Maximus.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
They Cloned Tyrone. It's a new movie on Netflix.
Open your eyes.
One of the top 3 movies in the world on Netflix right now was directed and co-written by a filmmaker from Tuskegee.
The Tuskegee Experiment. It started in 1932. Hundreds of black men were recruited for what they thought was free medical care.
A filmmaker from Tuskegee.
Jewel Taylor was born in Tuskegee and later moved to Montgomery. In his latest project, They Cloned Tyrone. They Cloned Tyrone stars Jamie Foxx and is a sci-fi comedy streaming right now on Netflix.
Bred in circuses, psyops and sightings,
close to 5,000 documents,
disclosure and disinformation,
previously classified.
The House Oversight and Accountability Subcommittee held a historic hearing on unidentified anomalous phenomena, also known as UFOs.
Lawmakers on Capitol Hill are digging into the national security concerns and the mystery posed by unidentified anomalous phenomena, or UAPs, also known as UFOs.
Do you believe that our government is in possession of UAPs?
Absolutely, based on interviewing over 40 witnesses over 4 years. I know the exact locations.
A whistleblower who formerly worked on the Defense Department's UAP task force, David Grush.
Biologics came with some of these recoveries.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to.
Psyops and sightings. Brought to you by the masters of misdirection and sleight of hand.
Corporate America is bringing Satanism to the mainstream in preparation for the real disclosure when that man of sin is revealed.
Let no man deceive you by any means. For that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition.
Is that KFC chicken sandwich spicy?
Sinfully.
I'd do anything for one. Anything.
Order any KFC sandwich online till July 2nd for Diablo 4 rewards.
That's the commercial?
Do not attempt to eat this burger unless you like sweating, gasping, and jalapeno, habanero, and pepper jack cheese induced hallucinations. My rewards members set your mouth on fire with a one-time El Diablo single for $6.66 in the Carl's Jr. app.
Yeah!
El Diablo single for $6.66. $6.66.
Have you ever heard of a real witch?
They just naming fast food sandwiches after the devil now.
Summoning demons and trapping them inside cans of water. Inside this very warehouse sits the entire inventory of liquid death mountain water. Each can is about to be infused with real demons by a real witch.
A lot of what I practice can be considered traditional witchcraft.
What you're about to witness is very real, very dangerous, and in my opinion, a terrible idea.
We enter into the dark half of the year. Now is the time of the dead. I ask you, spirits, those who are listening, I invite you here.
You're not here.
I offer this water.
Bugging.
As a vessel.
Bro, I never understood that. Like, why? Like, liquid death is just water. Why don't you just drink, like, regular spring water? Like, why do people choose the one that says liquid death on it? Like, it's basically a label telling you not to drink it.
Now, for obvious reasons, we are not going to play the entirety of this ritual invocation. But note, the date of this summoning was October 2020.
And though they want you to take this commercial as a tongue-in-cheek joke, since it aired, there has been massive spikes in excess deaths, and many of these casualties have been caused by liquid death in one form or another.
It's called liquid death. Why would someone do that?
I welcome you. Now is the time of the dead.
Demon-infused liquid death. If you drink it, will you become possessed?
Bro.
Brought to you by Pfizer.
Satanism is becoming more popular.
We see a lot of TV shows geared towards the whole concept of, very dark, satanic, witchcraft-oriented
like
sort
my
of
boy
TV.
King Solomon.
And we see a whole counterculture of teenagers who are becoming more interested in this and growing popularity then because of it.
Nights filled with nightmares.
Is it the good book or a bad book?
Nights filled with nightmares.
According to one Utah school district, the Bible contains scriptures that are too violent and too vulgar for young children, so it's now banned.
And even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to the reprobate mind, to do those things which are not convenient.
This afternoon, the After School Satan Club held its first ever summer club at the Broome County Public Library. Our Shabelle Acevedo spoke with the campaign director to learn more about what the club is all about.
Satan's not an evil God. He wants you to learn and question why. He wants you to have fun and be yourself. And by the way, there is no hell.
But it's just real quick, you see all the lies and delusion that they're telling people, and they're starting them off from a young age. First, they're convincing them that there's no heaven and hell, which directly opposes to the teachings of Jesus Christ. Second, obviously it's a lie talking about how the Satan is not an evil guy, when he was the reason for the angels getting kicked out of heaven. And not only that, Satan's only here to kill, steal, and destroy. And this is because I know the word of God. You feel what I'm saying? But they're deceiving people that don't know the word of God yet to believe this stuff.
The club was able to meet for the first time in the Southern Tier in May, and many parents expressed interest in their kids attending the club, so they launched the first After School Satan Club Summer Club at the Broome County Public Library.
Bro, what?
A contemporary art gallery in Minnesota recently held what it described as a, quote, demon summoning session. The free event was part of the Walker Art Center's Plant Teachers Day. An author made an exhibit on how to trap a demon. Part of it
And keep in mind, keep this in mind, y'all. Satan got kicked out of heaven. Lucifer, the angel, which was once an angel of God, he got kicked out of heaven because of his pride. He believed that he can be above God, that he could take God's throne. He got puffed up and proud. And this is the exact thing that's being promoted. It says even in Proverbs, pride comes before the fall. That's exactly what happened to Satan, and that's exactly what's even happening to a lot of people.
Instructed people to text the word summon to a phone number, and that way parents and children could communicate with the demon.
But I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils, and not to God. And I would not that ye should have fellowship with devils. Ye cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils. Ye cannot be partakers of the Lord's table and of the table of devils. Devils. Devils.
Because they chose to follow in the hoofprint of the fallen. The shadow of death is enveloping the earth,
waiting for the sun to rise,
swallowing every soul that lies in its path.
Well, as friends and family mourn the loss of 17-year-old Caleb White, this story has touched so many people all over the country.
It's just such a shocking case. He was a star athlete in great shape. It's really hard to understand how he could just collapse and pass away.
A star on and off the football field in the eyes of friends and family. 19-year-old Mid-American Nazarene student athlete Mizell Law. He collapsed during a practice. He died hours later.
Suddenly, they can be gone.
Legendary Houston rapper Big Pokey has died after fainting on stage last night. Videos circulating on social media show the Sitting Sideways rapper collapsed on stage during a show in Beaumont last night. He was 48 years old.
Former Cal All-American wide receiver Sean Dawkins died suddenly yesterday at the age of 52. In the early 90s, he was one of the best wide receivers in college football, earning consensus first-team All-American honors following his junior season in 1992. A few months later, the Indianapolis Colts made Dawkins the 16th overall selection in the NFL draft, and it was with the Colts that Dawkins made his mark as one of the most consistent receivers in the league. He was a devoted husband, father, and friend. He is survived by his wife and 2 young twin daughters.
The Katy community is remembering a high school cheerleader. Her parents are sitting down for an interview after they say she suffered cardiac arrest at a cheer camp.
Her mother will never forget the moment the cheer coach called from the camp they were attending at Texas A&M. They learned that same coach had performed CPR on Callie.
If it wasn't for Eberly, we would have never had the chance to say goodbye.
All right, now to the tragic and sudden death of a 10-year-old cheerleader in Southfield, sending shockwaves through her family and the community. The Oakland County Medical Examiner is trying to figure out what caused this young girl to pass away.
It's like a nightmare. To watch a kid go so soon is just, it's nothing I've never seen in my life.
It was just after 8 o'clock Friday night outside the school in Southfield where they were practicing. We're told Monet collapsed, 911 was called, and someone started CPR. Paramedics arrived quickly, but Monet wasn't breathing, and despite life-saving measures, she never regained consciousness. The 10-year-old was later pronounced dead at the hospital.
New Mexico State University announced that one of its student athletes died suddenly on Monday morning. Talia Chavarria, a member of the NMSU women's soccer team, died on Monday.
Dang, what's going on?
According to the university, 20 years old and was set to enter her junior year at New Mexico State, a shining light within the team, according to NMSU's head coach.
Former University of Iowa football player Cody Ince died this weekend. The 23-year-old was an offensive lineman for the Hawkeyes from 2019 to 2021. He passed away unexpectedly near his home in Grantsburg, Wisconsin. According to the online obituary, he leaves behind his fiancee, parents, sister, and other family.
Dang.
Tim Kennedy was well known in Wilmington's creative and cultural arts community. He passed away unexpectedly at just 55 years old. Kennedy was an actor, dancer, director, and mentor to many people.
Sudden death among healthy working-age people worldwide is skyrocketing. Here in America, it was up 40%. Our next guest contends a 10% jump would have been a 1 in 200-year event. But this was 40%. Cause unknown. The epidemic of sudden deaths. Tell us about some of these unexpected sudden deaths. It seems like there are a lot of them. I mean, just from a Google search, you can find like a lot of 12, 14, 16, 18-year-olds that are just dropping dead suddenly. Tell us more.
Right. And in my book, I talk about sudden death, and we look at the sudden deaths of athletes, which, you know, did it happen before 21? It did. There was a study in 2006 by the Lausanne Institute in Switzerland that showed over the course of 38 years, they found 1,101 sudden athletic deaths, which is about 29 a year globally. We'd be lucky to have a month with just 29 since 2021. In my book alone, there's hundreds and hundreds of examples. So something's changed.
Probably the food that people eating, bro.
Listen.
Don't fight repentance.
If ye love me, keep my commandments.
Don't fight the commandments.
For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments.
Don't fight love.
Don't fight love. Open your eyes. Listen.
And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not her plagues.
Don't fight love.
For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities.
It's the height of the summer music festival season, and the crowds are ready to go wild. But the news of 2 more deaths at a traveling dance festival just last month.
Summer is in full swing, and many of those festivals are taking place.
Festival goers.
Busy summer festival season gets underway. Security measures have been heightened.
This is CI's secret.
The psychedelic hippie movement of the 1960s was conceived in a government lab created by the CIA, and this counterculture was introduced via Laurel Canyon. The plan was to hook the kids on sex, drugs, and rock and roll to quell the anti-war movement. The military and the CIA used LSD and other MKUltra techniques to subdue the youth under a well-orchestrated promotional media campaign. Manufactured artists such as Frank Zappa, Jim Morrison.
Hey, looking for YouTube purposes, just so they don't want to like take the video down. We're just gonna say this is all allegedly. You can use your own discernment to decipher what you want to believe is true or not.
Papa John Phillips and David Crosby.
But I'm gonna definitely turn my ear to what they're saying.
Were children of high-ranking members of the American military and once lived in the Los Angeles neighborhood of Laurel Canyon, which also was once home to a military film studio and Air Force station named Lookout Mountain. During the 1960s psychedelic movement, concert venues and music festivals like Woodstock and the Trips Festival were used as laboratories for secret government mind control experiments. But what is happening at today's concerts, like the Astroworld Music Festival or Coachella?
This might be the craziest thing I have ever seen. So at Lana Del Rey's concert, a wave of energy or whatever the heck happened jolted everyone in the crowd back. Just watch the raw footage.
Oh, snap. We already know at these concerts they be doing different types of rituals, and she's obviously covering the one eye.
So Travis Scott's concert in Rome reportedly left 60 people injured. Travis Scott's live debut of Utopia at the Circus Maximus in Rome has reportedly left approximately 60 attendees injured and in need of treatment.
Fear spread across Rome after people felt shaking near the historical site Circus Maximus, but it wasn't an earthquake. It was a Travis Scott concert, and fans jumping so vigorously there that the ground shook to the equivalent of a magnitude 1.3 earthquake. And now people are wondering if it's safe to hold music venues at that ancient site after all that shaking.
Wow. On Wednesday, August 9th, Euronews published an article detailing an incident at the show that resulted in fans getting hurt. The news comes after the tragic events of the rapper's infamous 2021 Astroworld Festival, which left 10 people dead following a stampede at the outdoor event.
Burning Man has a lengthy history. It started nearly 40 years ago, June 1986, as a small ritual on Baker Beach in San Francisco with just 20 guests. They burned an 8-foot-tall effigy, the Burning Man. In 2014, a 105-foot-tall effigy was burned, the tallest ever. That year's event drew nearly 66,000 campers. Tragedy struck in 2017, though. A 41-year-old man threw himself into the flames of the burning monument. He died a day later.
We're now learning a man who died at Burning Man Friday was from Truckee. The Washoe County Sheriff's Office identifying him as 32-year-old Leon Reese. They say that he was found unresponsive on the festival grounds Friday and declared dead on site by first responders. While the cause of his death is still under investigation, the medical examiner says drug intoxication is suspected in this case.
Bro,
22 years ago, Frank
to intentionally throw yourself in a fire, you have to be under some sort of possession that's not from God.
Olson plunged to his death from the 10th floor of the Hotel Statler in New York. His family was told he'd committed suicide. It wasn't until June 11th this year that his family learned that, in fact, he'd unwittingly participated in a CIA drug experiment that resulted in his bizarre death.
It was here that the CIA funded a series of experiments, severe experiments, brain surgery, psychosurgery, creation of amnesia, parapsychology, manipulation of genes, administration of sodium pentothal, hypnosis, isolation, and deprivation of sleep. A report of a woman who had electrodes implanted in the brain and was then given LSD and other drugs. She became agitated, cried, lapsed into a trance-like state. The work was done by the Institute's then director, Dr. Ewan Cameron. It is the closest experimentation to brainwashing yet disclosed. The Search for the Manchurian Candidate, a history of intelligence agency work with mind control.
All the scientific data gathered from these psychological mind-altering experiments is now being utilized to condition the susceptible subconscious minds.
Bam! Looky, I know this is an amazing film. I appreciate the person who sent that for us so we can watch together. It is past the halfway mark. I do want to watch the whole thing, but we're going to leave that for a separate video, so make sure you stay tuned for that. I'm eager to watch the second half. We're going to do that together. We're going to, it'll be posted up tomorrow, so make sure you do turn on post notifications so you can catch when the next half of this video is dropping. But yo, it's just crazy. I mean, the production of this film right here is just amazing. So I'm going to catch you guys on the next half of this video. I love you guys. Peace. Smash the like button. Comment down below any thoughts that arise into your mind when watching these just different occurrences that's going on right now. All right, peace, love y'all.